Moon Knight is here, and thanks to the team at Marvel Rivals and as a creator for the game, I've been lucky enough to have been sent some extra footage to help showcase some of his abilities ahead of the launch on December 6th. Let's dive into it. The Fist of Khonshu Moon Knight will be playable from day 1 and has been assigned a difficulty rating of 3 out of 5 stars by the folks over at NetEase. His primary or left click attack is a ranged attack which fires crescent darts forward that bounce between enemies and anks, more on that shortly, which deal damage to enemies. This is pretty straightforward as a regular burst style range attack, nothing kind of crazy until you start to see how these generally weak attacks become a bigger part of the puzzle when looking at Moon Knight's overall moveset. Which leads me into his right-click ability, Moonblade. This attack is essentially the same as the Crescent Dart, except it uses a cooldown timer instead of the 30 ammo that the left-click does. It also appears to bounce more times and cause more damage to enemies per single hit, which makes it a good way to maintain consistent damage on your enemies, even if you run out of Crescent Darts. Both of these abilities, however, really start to shine when you bring in your E ability, the Ancient Ankh. Pressing E will drop a static ankh with an area of effect around it that causes anyone caught in that radius to be sent airborne and pulled towards the center, meaning that you can group more enemies together and use your Crescent Darts and Moonblades, which bounce off of the ankh, to cause even more damage. While all of this sounds really cool, it's not even the most interesting bit of this ability, as with characters like Doctor Strange who have protective shields can still be affected by the ankh and attacks that bounce off of it into their back, making Moon Knight potentially one of the most pivotal rivals to have on a team. Onto his traversal now, and there is a few abilities that allow Moon Knight to enter, exit, and re-enter fights quickly and easily. So we're going to kind of talk about all of them together. First off, you've got the Moonlight Hook ability that allows you to launch a grappling hook that pulls you towards it. It's pretty basic, but considering the verticality in Marvel Rivals, having a character that can get up high really quickly can provide a lot of value, especially when that character focuses on dealing AoE damage. Having a high vantage point is really going to make a difference when either trying to break dense enemy formations or when trying to catch them at pinch points. In addition to that, Moon Knight can also perform a double jump with Rising Leap. Outside of being able to climb higher and quicker than other rivals, this can also help you to gain a higher vantage point in fights, and make it even harder for enemies to hit you in direct one-on-one combat. And I know this is the wrong franchise, but having the high ground really does matter. The last traversal ability we have is the Night Glider. By holding down left shift, you'll be able to gently glide down to the floor or cover further distances after using your Moonlight Hook or Rising Leap to be able to get behind enemies or retreat from their attacks. While basic in nature, I really think this is going to help you to get in or out of fights easier, which can really make the difference when things start to get hairy. Finally, onto Moon Knight's ultimate ability, the Hand of Khonshu. By pressing Q, you can open a portal that allows, you guessed it, Khonshu's hand to bombard enemies caught in its radius. And considering Moon Knight's E ability allows you to launch enemies into the air and amplify attacks, if you manage to hit your opponents with the Ancient Ankh and follow up with his ultimate ability, you can have an assault that will rival the insanity that is Storm's ultimate, which has been infamous in the playtests for taking out multiple enemies at a time. All in all, Moon Knight seems like an absolute powerhouse that's definitely going to rock the meta. Especially as I don't think we've seen another character with this much AoE potential yet, but before we count that as fact, we're going to need to see him in action. Thankfully, that's already less than a month away, so roll on December 6th. I'll be continuing my coverage in the lead up to launch, so make sure to like and subscribe and check out my first weekly recap with This Week in Marvel Rivals here. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay awesome, and I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.